Hello and welcome to Upload, the University of Lincoln Graphic Design Show 2021. I'm Annika Robone, I'm the chairwoman.
I'm Lou Santana, I'm co-chair and head of socials and photographer.
I'm Josh and I'm the co-chair and editor.
Hi, I'm Cam and I'm head of branding.
I'm Ellie and I'm head of copywriting.
I'm Andrew and I'm the website designer.
So given COVID, we really need to find a way to show you guys our work while also staying within restriction guidelines. So this year we decided to launch a website. So you'll be able to find all the students' work on the website, link should be in the description below or on screen now. And you can check out all the students' work, and we really hope that you enjoy being able to look through such a wide range of work from such amazing students.
Within my role as head of social media, I've been responsible to put up daily posts on the show's Instagram to promote everyone's work and give further insight into the lecturers, people that were in the committee and everyone that was generally involved in the show, which has been great to get the show up and running. As well as that, I've had to be in charge of the portraits, all of the photography and editing for the showcase, which we can see further on. And finally, as co-chair, I've been able to have a general overview of the show and how it's been run, which has been great because it's been so nice to see everyone put so much effort in, given the times that we've had to go through with the whole COVID and everything. But it's been great to see everything come together and everyone be so excited for what's our end of year show.
Okay, so I've been in charge of the general filming and editing for the show. So essentially all the vlogs and the show reels that you'll be seeing were things that I've been working on. Now, I've never had really much experience with Premiere or working with film in general, so this has been quite new and exciting. And obviously when you're trying something new, you need to find a way to creatively tell a story, and I'm hoping that that's what you'll see now, so enjoy.
So my main role within the committee was to lead the branding team through the creation of the logo mark for Upload, the colour palette and some of the typographic elements as well. In the end, we really felt as though the logo came to life with the design that we chose to use. So for example, the use of the elongated U and then the little arrowhead on top representing the idea of uploading. It kind of just worked really well for what we were wanting to do. As a team, we worked really well. It was a small group of 8 of us, so there wasn't that many conflicting opinions. It was really good to get everybody's kind of insights and experiences, and everything that everybody's good at. It was really good to incorporate all of that as part of the branding, to create something that kind of felt as though it wasn't just created by one person. It was something that was created by a team, which was really important to us and what we wanted to do with it. In the end, the branding came together and was easy to roll across each of the different platforms. So we've utilised it on things like the social media pages. It's been used on the website, so Andrew will talk a little bit more about that later. But for instance, the colour palette, the typography, the typeface choices, all of that's been really easy to kind of roll out across the different platforms, which has been good.
So as part of my role, I basically set the main tone of voice for the show because we wanted it to still be sophisticated and kind of professional, but we didn't want it to be too formal because we didn't feel that reflected us and it didn't reflect the show branding. We wanted to encase some of the factors that we've got in terms of using the upload as a kind of starting point, creating some kind of some ploy towards digital and uploading, seeing as with the COVID situation, a lot of our final year and second year have actually been online, so we've had to do a lot of digital uploads rather than physical hand-ins, which we felt was important and what characterised us as a year group because of the way that we've dealt with things quite differently when in our uni experience. So as well as this, me and my team were responsible for creating the show invites, which we try to personalise to each studio in order to engage with people a little bit better and get them on board to come and see our show.
I was responsible for the website design at Upload, where I basically designed it to be like a desktop background. I did this because due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we've had to change the way that we do our projects, all online based, and the outcomes are very online based as well, where we've been using our Mac primarily to produce these sort of outcomes. On the website, you'll be able to see a selection of people's work from the past 3 years, as well as the team who have helped us through these 3 years, massively to be able to develop our graphic design skills. and also like the vlogs as well, to be able to see what we get up to in the studio space and what IFP was sort of like at the end of our 3 years at uni. Thank you.
So now we're going to answer some questions that have been sent in by you guys. If you have any questions which we won't be answering here, be sure to pop it in the comment box and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Who wants to go first?
Oh, this is not me.
I'll go. I was really interested in advertising and marketing, but I also have that sort of creative side to me. So I really wanted to find a course which would allow me to be able to incorporate both of them together.
Yeah, I mean, I think generally we're all kind of have an interest in creative things, and doing fine art just wasn't good enough for us. Clearly. We wanted a purpose.
We wanted to get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, I did product design A-level, but that was too technical. You needed to kind of be good at maths for that. I don't think that's one of my strong points. So yeah, graphics it was.
Well, to be honest, I didn't even know where Lincoln was before I came here. I wasn't even meant to come here, but I think it was one of the best decisions I've ever made, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't regret it at all.
Especially coming from like a big city, Lincoln is such like, I wouldn't say, you know, it's a small city, but everything's so compact and everything is together.
Yeah.
And when you come from a big city, it's such a difference to have this like close-knit community within the university.
It's just way more homely as well. Like, you can
Yeah.
walk from one side to the other and not be worried about getting lost or like having to pay loads in taxis from nights out and stuff.
It's so beautiful as well, walking around and just seeing like the cathedral and that, and the old sort of style buildings that they have around here.
I'm quite the opposite to Nick because I came from like a really small village, so it was just that like stepping stone towards a bigger city. You know, it's homely.
I suppose, like apart from Lou as well, we've kind of all we've not come from too far away from Lincoln. I feel like we could have made bigger steps, like gone to Edinburgh, gone to London. I feel like it's been nice for us all to come here because we're not too far away from home, but we're far enough that we've kind of got our own space. Yeah. Sorry, Mum and Dad.
I think also as well, like the place we work in, like the studio environment, it's just really nice to be able to come in and just work and have everyone around and things like that. It's a really nice place as well.
Of course, it's just a bit of a random place to have the big man Barry Tully. It's a bit random, isn't it?
Hell yeah.
Ending.
Not this.
No, I don't.
I feel like, you kind of go through a bit of a process with each project where you love it in stages, you hate it in stages, and I know it's not about the grade, but when you do get that at the end, I feel like when it really pays off and you're pleased with it, it just gives you kind of this great satisfaction where, you just feel as though everything's paid off. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't always end up that way, but when it does, I feel like it is really fulfilling.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think my favourite moment on the course is probably the first session which we had, where we all had to bring in those bloody handmade boxes. That was a project I will never forget.
We were all so
But no, it's just... Sorry, you go.
I'd say probably finishing first year, because I think we all came in without really knowing what it was all about, and finishing first, it kind of proved that it was really where we were meant to be. So it was very rewarding. Plus, we were all had fixed friendship groups and all that. So.
Yeah, I think just coming to the end of this year, I know obviously it's been a bit difficult to have a proper official hand-in because we've had digital ones, like some physical ones with the people that made physical things. But I think there is just a sense of accomplishment that you've made it through 3 years, and clearly we're all doing great because we're here.
I think probably just looking back on deadlines in general, every deadline week, in second year when we used to have all night. It's just amazing.
Christmas ISTD deadline was special.
Just eating quiche.
We got the microwave and we could actually have dinner in the studio.
And there's
Those were the
ready
times.
meals at 3 AM in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You.
What was the most stressful part? Deadlines, obviously.
Yeah.
So probably the first actual presentation we had to do,
Yeah.
like presenting in front of the tutors and everything. We didn't know. I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't know what we were going to say, how it was going to end up.
Yeah.
It was probably very scary at first, but very rewarding when we finally did it. Let's say.
I fully expected you to say Paradiso.
I kind of think as well, it's like, I feel like it's every presentation. I feel like it's something that never really goes from you. Like, even after 3 years, I think we all find presentations just as stressful as we probably did that first hand in. It's just something that I don't think, no matter how much practicing or anything, can really prepare you for it. It's just in our instincts to stress about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but then also like when you're handed a brief and you've got all these possibilities that are like running around your head and you don't know where you're going to go, you don't know what your outcome's going to be.
Yeah. I'd say it's such a massive learning curve, always.
Yeah.
Okay, so the stress never stops. So.
Yay!
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yes.
100%.
Both as individuals and as designers, obviously.
Yeah, I think, as designers, 100%, you start first year and you think, oh, it'll be fine, I know everything there is to know. You get 1 week into first year and you realise you know nothing.
Looking back at like first year, where you're like, why did I even do that?
When you do your projects from first year, you're like, why did I do that? Why did I even pass first year?
I think mine was like using Photoshop for illustration.
I've
learned Illustrator now, it's cool.
I drew a stick man using Illustrator. You remember that? It was literally a stick man, like circle and lines, and oh my god, it's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. But,
I think, with the help of the tutors, there is no way that you can not improve such support within the system.
It's weird though, isn't it? 'Cause you kind of don't realise you're improving as you go along.
You don't.
Because it's just with, like, week by week, every bit of feedback that you get, it starts to make you think differently about the way you're doing things, and then you kind of question it in your head rather than waiting for them to tell you what's changed.
So there's a complete difference between first year where you feel like you have to go to tutors to get feedback, to third year where you're looking at your own work and you're like, actually, this is what the tutors would say about it. You end up criticising your own work more than anyone else.
Like you look back at what you did in first year and like, wow, you realise you've come such a long way without even noticing.
100%.
I think you learn to adapt to the whole idea that nothing is ever completely perfect. So
there's always room for improvement.
It's baby steps. Like when you think in first year, we never use like grids or anything, and use that now.
Some of it's
Making friends. Oh, okay. Networking. I'm so excited. I'm so looking forward to actually, being able to know people in the industry. There's such a huge difference between being in university and knowing fellow students and you're all learning together versus when you're in industry. Not only are you learning from people who are junior designers as well and midweights, but also people who are right at the top, senior designers. You're learning little tricks and stuff from them.
Yeah, certainly.
I think learning from people that don't only belong to the graphic industry, you're going to be surrounded by so many people that know so many different things that you can just take in and apply to further briefs or further jobs. That's going to be quite inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, it's I'm looking forward to that, having that mindset where you're not being spoken to as a student. So I think our tutors have been really good, generally anyway, in terms of never really treating us like students, more as like colleagues. But I think in industry, you kind of lose all of that, I've got to do this because of a grade kind of thing, and it becomes very much more of a thing of passion, really. Like you end up doing the work because you genuinely want to make the branding good for a company. You want to make a company feel well represented, and I think that's really exciting. I think my favourite project will always be my second year FMP. It's, I know for some people that experience, you know, going into lockdown for the first time wasn't that great. I know, not naming names. But just for me personally, like just being surrounded by my family and having that support network, it was very different from being at uni. Like my day-to-day routine was vastly different. But I think I just adapted to the process quite well, and yeah, I've just found it an absolute blast.
Yeah, I think especially this year, I mean, probably a lot of us will say the same, but third year projects are so different from the first 2 years. First 2 years, especially about, you know, reimagining your creativity, your imagination. But third year is a really push on competition briefs and real life briefs. And we've had some amazing briefs this year. We've had like JDO, we've had Elmwood, we've had Creative Conscience, we've had some for ISTD. You know, it's really fun to be able to have projects where it's a competition project where you get given a brief by someone else, someone who's, you know, completely stepped away from the university and said, you know, create something like this, and your work is gonna, in a way, it feels in your head that your work actually means something, and it's gonna go forward to do good.
Yeah. I think I've enjoyed both the ISTD ones most, just because it's you sort of pushed to use not mainly type, but you know, it's
you've got
a type-based thing. Yeah, so you've been experimental with it. So.
And again, type isn't for everyone, so it kind of encourages you to push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit more.
Yeah.
And they're always great projects because usually you end up with something that you never thought you'd be able to achieve, and it actually turns out quite well in the end. So
I'd have to say our second year ISTD to Paradiso, just because it was such a big learning curve for me. I think everything that could go wrong in that project went wrong. It all went wrong, like nothing was working, but special thanks to Barry, because it would have actually worked out without him. But it ended up working out amazingly, and it's in my house, in my bookshelf, and I'll cherish that book forever. I'm just so proud that it actually came out as something decent and pretty decent.
Oh, it's not pretty decent.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I think I'd say ISTD as well. Like typography is very much something I like to do, so it gave me the opportunity to be able to do that. Especially with like editorial design as well, it sort of brings that into it where you'll be able to make a book design for it as well. And it just gives that like flexibility in terms of that. And you can do each page like differently, and it's all just really enjoyable and my sort of like thing I like to do.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably my dissertation FMP, because it kind of gave you the opportunity to explore something that you'd already kind of researched so much throughout writing your dissertation. Like mine personally, I created an album cover for a live client that I found, and I just really enjoyed getting back in the studio for one and being able to do all the physical processes, because we haven't had that opportunity for the rest of the year, and I think I grasped it as much as I could to be able to kind of say that I made something.
It was very sexy.
It was.
I fear
in industry in general.
I am worried that someone is going to laugh at me for the way I use Photoshop.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be like, why do you do it that way? There's a much easier way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
It's like the Adobe suite, isn't it?
The entire Adobe suite.
I feel like everybody's been taught different. Everybody in every different university, every graduate from this year has been taught something different by their range of tutors. And though everybody has something to bring to the table, clearly, everybody kind of does everything differently.
I wouldn't necessarily think of our course as like, you know, traditional graphics. We've had some really out there projects.
Yeah.
Not that there is necessarily traditional graphics, but you know, it's just
the camouflage.
Yeah.
It's a massive quality of that project.
Yeah. We've done like musical instruments and everything, and it's just been really diverse and amazing.
I think for me, just, you know, to kind of expand on that, it's not necessarily if I know something and someone else knows another way. It's if I have to like use YouTube or something else as like a tutorial, I'm kind of a bit like, oh my god, are people going to laugh at me or judge me for doing that? Should I know this?
There's such a not right way of doing something. Like there is a lot of right ways of doing it, and we've probably been taught something different as someone else. But that doesn't mean it's worse.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong.
Yeah, it's always what gets done at the end of the day. Can't complain.
I think like messing something up like really badly as well.
Having a typo, it goes to print, and there's like 100,000 copies printed, and then you realise there's a typo right in the middle.
I think it's just daunting. It's just daunting to get started in the industry, like make the step to like actually get into it and start emailing agencies. And it's just a hard process, but it is worth it.
And hard to accept rejection as well, I suppose, is another big one. I feel like we're so used to kind of, you know, everything being positive in terms of generally in terms of the projects, like, you know.
We know that we're always going to have another opportunity to perform better in the group, but
whereas,
industry is.
Joe!
Barry, we love you, but...
We love you, Barry.
No,
because I always worry there's like a widow in one of my typings, and I'm like,
it's not
like it there.
Barry's the sweetest.
He's amazing. He's
all sweet.
Joe is amazing.
Joe's scary.
Joe, you are scary.
No, to be fair, Joe, you were scary before we met.
Yes,
now
beginning
you're
of
not.
third year, we were terrified.
Yeah. But then he was like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
Then again, I guess Brian has that kind of effect
Oh.
as well.
Brian,
second year.
not forgiving you for making me cry at the start of second year.
Second year.
100%.
The jump from first year to second year,
It's true.
was a lot bigger than the jump from second year to third year, I think.
Yeah.
I think you learn different things across the 3 years.
Yeah.
First year, you learn how to sort of expand your imagination. How to adapt, how to push your creativity into a completely different realm. Second year, you're learning physical skills, like stuff like body copy with the ISTD. You're learning branding with stuff like Dragon Rouge. And then third year, you know, you're putting both of them 2 years together and learning even more.
I suppose you could say about third year as well. I feel like in first year and second year, you are given the target audience a little bit more. Whereas in third year, like, it's literally left up to you to determine.
left up to you.
You have to be way more independent. Third year, learn how to make your own decisions and just go with them without needing
as well.
acceptance.
I feel like the briefs are a little more free as well.
100%.
I mean, we just got a sentence for IFMP. So
I struggled.
Definitely.
You can do whatever you want with them, I think.
The thing that's great about
third year.
the thing that's great about Lincoln is it's not a 100% computer generated course. They don't expect you to be able to create every single project which is based on a Mac. ISTD, for example, everything's created on a computer, but you can do letterpress, for example, but then at the end of it you can actually bind the book. It's not just creating physical. It's not just about creating digital experience. About creating physical. So I know people who have done a project where one person's created a title sequence, for example, you and FMP, and someone else has created a book like you. You know, it's two completely different realms.
As long as you can relate it back to the brief, and you can relate it back and be rationalised to what they're asking you to do, you have so much freedom.
I feel like we're taught to often relate the style to the thing that we're actually producing, like what Ellie's just said. So, you know, you are free to explore whatever styles you want to, but at the end of the day, it's important that style matches what you're doing and suits the target audience.
Absolutely. And we've had a range of facilities to be able to use as
well.
Like in third year, everyone's been using the Risograph printer.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you.
Massive
Shout
thank you.
out.
Shit!
No, they're great. They're unbelievably amazing. We're so lucky at this uni to have.
Should we restart that?
No,
we're not. We're so glad at this uni to have. I think we have 3 Risograph printers.
Shame
so
it works,
expensive.
though.
Yeah, exactly. But
all of them work.
It's not like that.
we have amazing tutors and
Screen printing facilities.
Technicians. You've got people.
They're so helpful as well. Like they'll be there whatever you need to do, and
you just pop down and you can have a breakdown to them, and they'll be able to sort you out within a matter of 20 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
too relatable.
Barry's got a massive stash of typewriters as well in the cupboard that he lets you use, so you really have kind of got free.
And as long as you look after them.
Well, yeah, true.
Barry's
I don't break them.
Barry loves his typewriters.
Yeah.
Surprisingly well, I'd say.
Yeah,
I'd say so. I think, you know, you're always going to have those people that struggle to cope with that kind of stuff. I think the main thing that's got us through it is probably like our friendships though on the course as well.
Yeah.
It's you put me off now. But no, it's kind of like, especially in the first lockdown when everything was so new, I think staying in touch with the people that you were closest to on the course kind of gets you through it, and especially when we all came back in October, because obviously we're all able to use the space again. I feel like being able to get together with your mates is really good for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it reached a point where we just accepted that it is what it is, and that we just had to get it done and just keep on and get the best of it, and I think we did.
Yeah. I mean,
it could have been better, but it was.
Yeah, it has been very difficult because it's kind of like 1 week we're allowed in the breakout space, we're allowed to be at a social distance, talking to each other like we would in the first and second years. Next week we're not allowed in, it's all closed off, and like we're being kicked out by security, and like
we're not allowed all-nighters.
No, we're not all-nighters.
The tutors have been amazing. You've got tutors like Rona, for example, will stay on call until 8, 9, 10 p.m. on Teams, waiting for anyone who needs any help.
Yeah. Joe and Rona, I'm so thankful for that hour and a half long conversation we had. Mental breakdown, so I really appreciate that.
11 p.m. emails.
Yeah. We've all been there.
I can only apologise for the just random middle of the day emails and calls I've made today.
But yeah, I mean, like at the very first lockdown, obviously everything was so new to us, but it was new for the tutors as well. I know you, especially Rona, like you were literally, you know, you send us an email at like 10 o'clock at night and be like, oh, literally if anyone wants to jump on a call, I'm free. And it's just that like commitment going above and beyond, like outside of your work hours as well.
Yeah.
It's massively appreciated, because without it, we probably wouldn't have, you know,
gotten this far.
Exactly.
No, none of us would have got this far. I'm sure you two have some fun moments.
I don't know.
Who goes first?
Breakdown.
I'm going to drop Andrew.
You want to stay for first here?
That was Nathan.
Do you want to elaborate?
Yes.
On your,
So, well, it was a JDO presentation that they were given. And I messaged Cam and we was having a little conversation about how good the brief is that was being given. And Cam called me up whilst I was in the presentation. Little did I know that my mic was actually still turned on, and I answered the call and I said, "Hello, can you hear me?" And that went through onto the presentation that they were given, and it was just so embarrassing because it was just because they answered back to me and I was like, "Hold on a minute, what's going on?" It was then rather than Cam answering back, so.
Yeah, there's been a lot of mic tests.
Just Zoom in general.
Zoom in
general. Can you see my screen? I'm sharing my screen.
People turn on the camera when they're in compromised positions. Not letting names.
We've had some there's been some really funny moments.
All night is the second.
Yeah, I think
all night is amazing.
Just see someone just lying on the couch, trying to sleep.
Those two dancing to Lion King,
singing
to Disney. Class.
You kind of just start to get to a stage where you just hallucinate and
you haven't
eaten in about
5
15
a.m.
hours.
I went first year.
Happy's breakfast.
We won't talk about
No, hallucinations.
Or a funny moment, again with the hand-ins, going to work at 6:30 in the morning when you have just done an all-nighter, still in your work clothes, and then doing a shift. That is special.
It wasn't very funny at the time.
It is looking back, but
it is very good.
Even just getting in at 8 in the morning, just as your housemates are leaving, and you're just
I would usually come to meet her for London, and you'd just finish up work, and he was like, "Oh no!"
Barely getting through it. Three Lucasades in, trying to stay awake.
zombie moment.
Tutors.
Honestly, they are absolutely horrible. Like, I would never speak to them.
Can we start that one?
No, keep it up. Tutors are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
We cannot thank them enough for the amount of time and effort and everything.
It's like commitment.
So much commitment. You know, they've even, I mean, after hand-ins, where we've been planning this show and they're still on the ball, answering questions whenever you need it. I remember second year when I went to Brian's office and had a breakdown to him. He had no clue what to do, bless him.
I think we've all had a breakdown.
We've all had a breakdown at one point. At this point, no, they're amazing. You know, if you've ever got any issues, if you ever, you know, need a deadline extension, if you're ever worrying about your own work, you know, they are the first people that you can go to. They're absolutely amazing.
I think they go beyond coursework. It's more than that, and that's
They become your family.
Yeah, it's really
and not in a
appreciated.
way.
I think it's just lucky because we've got a relatively small course and we're lucky to have not that many people in our year group. So I think everybody's so clear, like all the tutors know kind of where we're at and like what we're doing.
You just know your names, that's the
Yeah.
start. That makes a big difference. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we've all kind of had that moment where we've all been really down, and as much as you've got your mates to kind of pick you up, I feel like the tutors have always been there to pick you up. I know from personal experience at the start of third year, I ended up having a call with you, Rona, just because things weren't that great, but the kind of support and motivation it gives you after speaking to people like you and Jez and Joe and everybody else, it really lifts you up and helps you kind of carry on with things. So just a massive thank you.
At the end of the day, they've guided us through 3 years that probably been 3 of the years that have been more life-changing for us as individuals and obviously designers. So it is quite a big thing to take from that.
They're there for you when you're at your lowest, but they're also there to celebrate with you when you get amazing news, like being shortlisted for stuff. You know, they're the first people to send out emails within seconds of shortlisting being announced, and they're there to support you.
And they also tell you to crack.
Crack the fuck on! Again, sorry to my parents for that.
Sorry,
Brilliant. Amazing. And up next, we've got a show reel of all of our students' work. vlogs.
So you can't just say, and then the vlogs.
Well, no, I'm not. It's going to be cut. It's going to be cut. And then. Now vlogs.
So where you were looking at the camera like, and then the vlogs.
Have some vlogs.
Watch the vlogs.
Watch the vlogs. They've been on our Instagram for like a week.
Like them on Instagram.
Yeah, you can show
Three.
vlogs.
At Upload2021.
2,
Ready?
1.
I mean, it's still recording.
Just go. This is why I do stuff.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so now we're just going to show you our studio vlogs. This is just showing you a bit of studio culture, what we get up to during deadline week. So these have been posted on Instagram already, but if you haven't seen them, then enjoy.
So for my final major project at uni, I based my brief around Doctor Who. Growing up, I always used to love the show, so it's been a real pleasure to be able to work with the visuals, work with the audio, create my own branding for the series, all of that. It's been really, really cool. The research process, everything behind it, it's just felt more like a bit of a side project, to be honest, rather than like an actual uni brief, which is really, really cool. Another good reason why, you know, it's nice to have these opportunities at the end of the year to be able to do these things and express what we like to do in graphic design. The inspiration behind the whole sequence was heavily inspired by the works of Ollie Moss. So he tends to produce work that's very minimalistic. He uses like vector-based design, just simplistic, stripping it back. He produced some work for Firewatch, which I believe is a gaming thing. And essentially it just created like loads of flats but layered them together with colour. So that was really, really nice because I'm not an illustrator at heart, so it was really nice to be able to produce something like that using my skill set. The landscape themselves are designed to reflect the series, so there's many scenes in there that relate to certain aspects, such as like the home planet, some of the villains in there, all of that kind of stuff, so that was really nice to get in.
So my final major project is based on the Silk Road, which was a drug market on the dark web. I've created a book which explores the chat logs of the Silk Road, which later led to the founder of the Silk Road arrest. It's really nice to be able to play with different kinds of inks and stuff that we have available in the university. So one of the things that was really amazing was thermoplastic ink, which is really interesting because when you use your body ink to be able to press against the ink, you can explore the print underneath. It was really interesting to actually create a book this year. Obviously, given COVID, we had restricted access to the university facilities. So finally, in our last few weeks, being able to actually come into university and access it has been really fun. Overall, you know, FMP has been difficult given COVID, but with the help of the tutors and with the support of the students, it's definitely been one to remember.
Obviously, it was a really, really lovely year group. It's a real shame that we haven't had the experience we'd like to have had with you in the studios, in the workshops this year. I think everyone in the third year has coped really well with blended learning. I think there's been a huge amount of endeavour from the students and engagement from the students with both the sessions we've done online and with using the breakout space in the studio for independent study. It's been a really nice sense of community with the students working in the spaces when they can. So that's been a really positive thing. And there's been some lovely work throughout the year. We're very hopeful about things like the ISTD awards, that we're going to get some of those. One of the students has got shortlisted for JDO. We've got a couple of other things come through, so that's obviously very rewarding. It's a shame. We were hoping this year we'd have a pre-show again, and it's a shame that it's not a physical show, but we're obviously pleased it's going to be an online event run by the school, which is great. And it's not the year we would have wanted for anybody, but I think the students have made an incredible job of engaging with this academic year. Some things have been very positive. We've had the opportunity to get alumni in to do talks about moving from education to industry, and it's been much easier to get people to come online to do talks rather than it has been to get them to come up to Lincoln for the day. So that's been wonderful, so that's been a very positive thing. And I think the engagement again from the third year for those events and the kind of preparation they're getting together for industry for the next step has all been really, really positive, to be fair. I think the team have worked very hard. We're very lucky to have Joe and Rona, running third year. I think that's gone really well this year. I think there's been some lovely outcomes, lovely work, and I can't wait to see the show.
Okay, so I'm currently working on a technique known as French folding. Now, with our plotters printers, you can only print on one side, which limits you as to which kind of binding you can do. Now, with a French fold, essentially, it works so that this side of the page will be on the left-hand side. So, by folding it like this, I won't do it now, because it's a little different. This would be the right-hand side, with the gutter of the book being here. And this would be the left-hand side, with the gutter here. You can tell because this is the other part of that image. So this is essentially how the book will work. You open it as so.
So I'm Jack, and I'm obviously head of the decoration and build team here at Upload. Right now we're just putting the yellow coats on the walls with the help of Ryan and Jimmy, who are also part of the team. Just trying to make the breakout space a little bit nicer for obviously the end of this year and also for the years to come. Hopefully we can leave a bit of a legacy about it, but yeah, just really like sprucing the place up and just making sure it looks good for everybody else. So yeah, that's my job.
For this project, we were given the prompt of just a single quote, and the quote I was given was, "I am the lie." So the route I ended up going into was looking into subjective truths and what people believe to be the truth, which led me down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, which are really interesting, just kind of, I find them to be kind of a modern mythology almost. And I wanted to create a brand based around conspiracy theories that had this element of being in on a secret. So I created a kind of multifast brand that was a speakeasy with an antique shop at the front and a bar at the back themed entirely around missing persons cases and mysterious deaths and disappearances throughout the world. One of the things I did to kind of test that out was I purchased online some photochromic inks which show up in direct UV light, so sunlight or a light like this, just kind of a UV nail lamp. And I created a range of things that would be featured throughout this using the disappearing photochromic inks on regular bags for the Face brand, sort of Vigils, the very regular seeming antique shop, and then behind it would be the Vigil, which would be the bar.
Okay, so I've been pretty much the past 5 days now. I finally managed to get it right, which is honestly really relieving because it's been a long week. Now, okay, so each of these sheets was originally about 4 meters long. There's 3 sheets overall because each of them contains every spread for my 3 books, which each have their own like colour variation depending on the narrative. So yeah, I'm just putting this down ready for 10 AM tomorrow. I've got a book binding session, and this is essentially where the front side of the so you're sort of limited as to what you can do, which is a shame because no, I'm not going to say which is a shame because that's essentially our printers can't print on both sides, so you sort of
So for my final major project, I decided to do something typographic based. Throughout my 3 years at university, I find myself doing a lot of very visual work, illustrations, for example, posters. and avoided typography because I think it was one of my weaknesses. I'm a very visual learner, so I would approach everything visually. And you know, I think going into industry and the end of my third year, I wanted to focus and improve on my typographic ability. So doing that, I created 2 typefaces, both inspired by the land of the rising sun. Obviously based on Japan, different themes related to the country. So one of them I decided to make was inspired by the calligraphic style of the alphabet. I was really captivated by their symbols and the way they speak their language is totally different because maybe more European languages you'll see they'll have the A's, the B's and the C's, whereas they have symbols very different in Eastern Asia. So you'll see this one here, this is called Hinode, and it's inspired by katakana, which is one of the 3 Japanese alphabets. You can see at the top there, it's a letter A inspired by the chi symbol from the alphabet of katakana. Just some visuals kind of displaying how that typeface works and how I made it. And then the other one is called Yamato 98. It's inspired a bit more by samurai style, Kyoto style in Japan. So angular architecture that you'll see, temples. There's something called the Torii Arch as well, which inspired me for that one, and also like the samurai ninja in Japan. So as you can see, that's it reinforced there with this poster. I did a few visual presentations to see how the typeface would look in action, and you can see there the angles kind of working with the shapes, the body flow of the ninja. Whereas you can see with Hinode presented that it's inspired once again by those symbols of katakana.
One of the projects I've been working on recently has been based on my dissertation, and more or less how technology has changed how music is shown and how the album covers are designed for that. So I kind of took this on the spin and created an experience of vinyl but make it digitally. So everything that you see, like sleep notes, or the artwork, everything like that, is now on your phone in an app. One of the key features about this as well is the music discovery feature. It kind of works a bit like Tinder, so you swipe left or right on an album cover you like. You have no information about it at all, apart from the album cover. So you just see that and then it's more discovery just for that. There's also like things like playing music parties, so you can chat with friends, listen to new music. It's more of a social experience.
Hello guys, we are in what day is today? Thursday. One day before the first hand-in.
We're stressed.
4 days before the second hand-in. We're going to show you our books. Well, this is Ellie's actually. It's the lay flat hand-in because everyone's decided to do a lay flat book.
Yep.
There you go, Ellie.
So basically the process of a lay flat, you have to fold all your pages together and then stick them back to back so they're nice and thick and they lay together and you don't get any plain pages in between. And then you do a lot of spray mount, you get it all over your fingers and your fingernails, so you get a free manicure. And then you get some sexiness like that. Design's not included, you will not guarantee this design, but yeah.
The outcome is not guaranteed, and then obviously it opens flat, as the word name says, lay flat. Then this one is got first layer on the plotters for the text and the images, then a second risograph layer, which is the orange one, and then a third one, which is the blue for the titles. So yeah, this is a book based on my dissertation, photography, influential photography. Soon in your best libraries available to purchase. $10.99. Yeah,
I'm going to say I've got 2 versions of this book because I'm just plain extra. I did a crap
They're
version.
both signed, guys, so
yeah, we'll sign them,
Grab your copy.
We've got a normal, regular plotters one that's just printed out on the printer, and then we've got a nice risograph printer because it is also the year of the risograph.
As well.
Everybody's on the risograph, which is a nice, it's a single colour printer, isn't it? That, I don't know, it just has a nicer effect. But, yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for joining our vlog. Subscribe to our channel.
Hello, I'm Andrew and I've been working on the show website. And I've basically designed it so it's like a desktop background, so you can move the folders around, click on them, go to the designers, see about their work, and also scroll down and see everyone else who's also on there, to see everything that they've done and also their contact details to be able to go on there and contact them. Also on the website we'll be doing like an about us just to show people who go on there everything that we've done, like who we are and that sort of thing. Again, with our studio, we'll show you where we've been working for the past 3 years that we've been at uni. And then lastly, we'll be showing like the vlogs and everything that we've been doing as our final major project goes through and things like that. And finally, we'll be having like a YouTube live bit on there as well. We can click on it and then see our live show that comes out on the 14th of June. Thank you.
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate.
So I just like.
Thanks, Cam.
Am I in front?
No.
So I've been working on the show website, which is basically designed as like a desktop background where it sort of works, where you can move the folders around, click on them, and everything's... Oh, Ellie, you're distracting me!
Okay.
Hello, I'm Andrew, and I've been working on the...
Cam, stop burping!
The show website is going to basically be as a desktop background. We have folders that you can move around, click onto them, and you'll see more about Hello, I'm Andrew, and I've been working on the show You know what? I'm Andrew. You can use that footage. There you go, that's the show website. I'm going home. What does it look like?
So a lot of our time at university has been part of students being short.
Students being short.
I was going to say shortlisted, but in my head I was saying showcase. So I was going to say showcased. Right.
Bonjour. That's French.
Right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Right, ready? Yeah. 3, 2, 1. So a lot of our time at university has been students being shortlisted for awards, but now we thought was the time that we actually shortlist some of the tutors for some awards. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Who was that? Oh, I said Jez.
Oh, I said Brian. Jez and Brian.
Jez.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
We love you, Rona.
Right. 3, 2, 1.
Wait, is that you now?
Yeah, Barry. Big boy Barry. Three, 2, 1.
Come on, you got this, Joe.
Three, 2, 1.
I think we all went different.
Yeah.
we did
Oh,
go.
Barry.
Oh, Rona.
Oh, Rona. I could see Rona.
Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Right, where is he?
Right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. In a nice way. Through
Nice
wholesome means. Yeah. Happy cry.
Right. 3, 2, 1.
Hell yeah.
3, 2, 1.
No one waits for Ian waits.
3, 2, 1. Go surfing.
Yeah, no, that was exactly it, yeah. Pursue your dreams, Jess. I don't even think we need to count that, just go.
No. Beautiful, that's all. So thanks for tuning into our live stream, and thank you to the shooters as well for everything that you've done across the past 3 years. Be sure to check out our website showcasing all of our students' work, and yeah, see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Fuck.